All right, time now for all things Gators, all things orange and blue. Dan Hicken and Frangie. What's up, Hick?
Doing well, Frank. Thank you for asking. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist brings us this podcast, se-ortho.com. For all your orthopedic needs in the Jacksonville area, they do a bang-up job. Frank, great to be along. Lots of things to talk about in Gator Nation. Let's start with football because I have a concern.
Okay.
I have a concern, and I'm going to be honest with you. And And Billy Napier came through the area and did his speech, Clay County Gator Club, I believe.
Right.
And does a bang up job. I'm concerned a little bit as we move ahead here about the quarterback position.
Okay.
And I've talked to enough people. I have not heard stellar, glowing recommendations or thoughts about. And Mertz and Miller are competing. And when you start doing articles on the quarterback position and you include the walk-on guys, and I say this with all due respect, if you play college football, God bless you, we don't have a star there. We don't have a star there, and you got to have a star to win in college football at the quarterback spot. I'm not sure Graham Mertz is the guy. I would say this, Frank. I'm not sure the quarterback for Florida this fall is on the team right now. Thoughts?
Interesting. I would disagree with that,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't disagree with a lot of where you're going with the topic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the star quarterback in Florida is playing high school football in Texas. Okay, I think DJ Lagway is the next star, and I think by all accounts, the way he's a Pied Piper recruiting, how locked in he is to be in a Gator. Every time you see video, he's big and strong. They were getting Jaden Rashada. I was excited. But he was a lean 170-pound guy that was going to need a couple years of development.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lagway, my gut tells me he's ready to go when he gets on campus. I know he'll be a freshman. So I think the next star is Lagway. But I'm not, I think whether it's Mertz, Miller, whoever, the team, they're not going 11 or they're not winning 11 games this year. Okay. They've got to build the culture. I think the defense will be way better because he recruited a lot of good players. I think you got 2-star running backs. I'm more worried about Mazuka, the left guard, who I thought was going to be this great player, who now is injured and had some doubt. I'm more concerned about that. But I think they're a better team, Dan. I think Andy Jean and Aiden Mizell, these two freshmen, from what you see, what you hear, see Florida, and I'm getting away from your quarterback point. I'll get back to it. I'm worried.
You're angering me because you told me. You're optimistic.
No, I still
and
am.
Now you're going to backtrack and give me 6 and 7, which I know is what's going to happen.
I'm not. I'm not giving you that. But my point is, I think Mertz will be okay. I think he'll be the quarterback, and I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's going to win 11 games. Yeah. I didn't think that ever. Okay, yeah. You heard what you wanted to hear because that's how you are. You're that guy. But
you had us in the Sugar Bowl. Is it the Sugar Bowl we go to now?
But I think Mertz will be better. I still think Mertz is going to be better than you think he's going to be. I think he'll win the job and think he'll be better. I think he's going to be a good college quarterback. If he was a great college quarterback, he wouldn't be here, Dan. He'd be in the NFL or staying at his school.
Right.
So I think he's going to be a good college quarterback. But I think they're better. I think the team will be better. I think he'll be functional. I think he'll hit the open guy. I think he'll get the ball to those running backs out of the backfield. I never thought when Graham Mertz or Jack Miller showed up that all of a sudden we had Rex Grossman. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was a Joe Burrow type transfer, but I think Mertz is going to win the job, and I think he's going to be.
Well, when you say better, Frank, then you're telling me that they're going to be 8-5.
That's right,
or 9-4.
I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games. And look, it's a brutal schedule, man.
I know.
They have 2 top 10 teams in the non-conference.
Well, understand that.
But I think, but my point about them, I think Mertz is going to win the job. I think he's going to be pretty good in that spring game a week from Thursday, and I think he's going to be just fine. That's what I think. I think he's going to be just fine. I really do. I think he's going to be just fine. I don't think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think it would help Billy Napier if he threw out a couple of Graham Mertz like wow throws just to get the Gator Nation, because all I ever see is this play. I see the receiver go about 8 yards. I see him turn around.
Yeah.
And I see Mertz just kind of tossing the ball. And I see him wait and catch it.
But I don't know. I know
that's just part of practice and warming up because that's all they get to. But I'd like to see one in the, hey, did you see this one in the scrimmage? Here's why we're excited.
Yeah, but I don't know that you need to show your opponents everything you're going to do either.
I don't want everything, Frank. I want one little throw. I want one little button hook, Frank.
I think Mertz is going to be okay. But let me go back to what I was saying a minute ago. We were watching Gene and Mizell, these guys.
Uh-huh.
And here's the reality. I think Billy Napier is bringing in guys who look like the guys Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson brings in. Doesn't mean they're going to become that. You know, let's be honest for a second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The guys they've had there, the whether it's Justin Shorter or Jaquavian Frazier's or the guy that caught all the balls against Vanderbilt and then transferred out, I don't remember his name. Those guys looked like they could be playing for Wake Forest or Missouri. None of them looked like Georgia, Alabama type guys. They just didn't.
Right.
I think this Andy Jean guy looks like a guy Georgia or Alabama would have signed.
And I'm not trying to be all negative, because I agree with you about one thing. I think off the field, Napier's done some wonderful things and is making the program better. He's definitely making the program better, and he's recruiting well. And so there's those are all the positives. It's just gonna listen. It's gonna.
What about this year? You're worried about this year's team.
I kind of was waiting for the guy who's at Notre Dame now playing quarterback for us this year, and that didn't happen. So
here's one thing that I will tell you I get a kick out of, and if Sam Hartman we watched a little bit, but Michael Pratt's from Tulane, right?
Yeah.
Michael Pratt's from Tulane. Graham Mertz is from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Every Gator fan wanted Michael Pratt. Okay, and they would have been all excited.
Yeah.
Instead, they got Graham Mertz. You would think they were expecting Caleb Williams, and they got Emory Jones. Okay. Yeah. The truth is, we have no idea if Pratt would have been any good or if Mertz will be any good. Yet the narrative is Pratt would have been great and Mertz is no good. That's the narrative. Right or wrong, that seems to be the narrative. And so for me, I'm not real worried, man. I like where I think they are. I got a hunch they're going to be better than people think. I really believe that.
Did you just hit your camera? Is that what happened there?
I got so excited I lost my headphones, okay? You got me all worked up. I had to fix my head. I had to fix my earpiece. It's an IFB. It's TV Talks, what that is.
I got you.
I got my IFB. But no, I think they're going to be okay offensively. I think they're going to be way better in defense. Don't you sense that the defense with Caleb Banks now, with Cameron Jackson now, with legitimate defense, with Chris McClellan having a year of development.
Yeah.
They had no defensive lineman. God bless Des Watson. I love him.
Yeah.
But he's over 400 pounds and he's having to play every down.
No, I think they'll be better. I think they'll be better. I just don't know how it's going to translate to the one-loss record. So that will be challenging. We'll talk more about it after the spring game and after we get a good look-see at them. Let's change topics, couple quick tidbits, and then we'll finish up with baseball. Good luck to the Lady Gator gymnastics team that made it to the national championship. Trinity's hurt. We don't know how severe. I don't know if she can play or compete or not, but hopefully she can. I want a shirt, Frank. We need a natty.
I know. 44, would this be 44?
Is it 44 or 43? Right? But we're right there. We're right there. So we need that. Basketball got a kid from Yale. I watch UConn. I look at the way too early top 25s. We're not in that mix yet. Although I will say Danny Hurley in his first year at UConn went 16-17. So there you go.
That's right.
There's something to hang your hat on.
And so let me talk about that. Let's stay on basketball for a second. They get the guy EJ Jarvis. They go back Edge Jarvis from Yale. I don't know how good he's going to be.
Yeah,
he's a 6'8", 220, great motor, kind of a versatile guy. Yeah. But the interesting thing about basketball is who knows anymore. Well, you know, Kansas State went to the whatever they got to, Elite Eight or however far they got. Mm-hmm. With every player in the rotation was a transfer.
Right.
Did you realize that? Every guy.
And Baylor won a natty basically with that formula. And it's available. I don't think the one and done formula works anymore. Ask Calipari. Yeah. And I know he's got a great class coming in, but if he can't, I guess Schwebe could come back for another year. If you can't throw him $5 million to keep him for another go round at Kentucky, I don't think all the freshmen are able to do what older guys. And with the COVID stuff, we got guys 22, 23, 24 playing college hoops, Frank.
Well, so to that point, every team, Florida included, there's no idea what they're going to be. Think about this for a second. I think we talked about this on the podcast. I know I did on the radio show. Mm-hmm. They were an eyelash last year from getting Janai Broome, who went to Auburn. Okay. Mm-hmm. He almost came. He's from Plant City. He looked at all these schools. It was down to Florida and Auburn. He had a tough time making a decision. And then he landed with Auburn because Bruce Pearl out-recruited Todd Golden at the end. Well, what if they'd have gotten him and paired him with Castleton last year? One guy that they almost had, okay? Mm-hmm. Their whole season, they win 20 games.
They would have gotten the tournament.
Right. And so now they're on the cusp of I haven't this point guard Walter Clayton, right? That's his
Right.
name, I think.
Is that
From
the Iona? Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a kid from Lake Wales, Florida.
Got to get him.
Wants to get back to Florida. Good player.
Yeah.
In fact, he was a football recruit that had big time football offers, but he wanted to play basketball, so he goes to Iona.
Mhm.
So from what you're hearing, Florida about had him. 16-point scorer, physical, athletic point guard. He was about to come, and then Patino, his Iona coach, got the St. John's job. And so now, and after visiting Florida, he visits St. John's, and it's kind of torn.
Yeah.
I mean, if they land him, so my point about basketball is basketball might be lousy again,
Yeah.
or basketball might be good, and we're not going to know because you got to believe realistically, what 4 more guys are coming in the portal, right? 3 more,
Easy,
have to, right?
Yeah, have to. Yeah.
And so we have no idea what those guys are going to be like. The 3 or 4 new guys. So, but Jarvis is a good start. I believe that. Getting Kugel to come back will be a good start. He's not going to the portal, but he could test the NBA waters or go to the G League. You get Kugel back. Richard will be okay. You get this guy Jarvis. Fudge will be better. I think if you add a point guard, a veteran, one better than Lofton turned out to be. Lofton, God bless him, never really impacted many games. I thought he would be an impact guy, and he wasn't.
Right.
So get a point guard like this guy Clayton or somebody who'll impact games. Get another big. Then all of a sudden, Florida's basketball team will show improvement. See, I think, and let me go back to the football thing. I think this is important, Dan. For people that started watching Florida in the 90s, all they know is great, right? Spurrier was great. Urban was great. 3 national titles, a bunch of Heismans. Billy was great. 2 national titles. 5 Final Fours. Great. That's all they know is great. Okay, and we've had this talk 1,000 times. Well, the great is long gone. Florida has become Missouri. Whether you like it or not, that's what they've become. Okay. Oof. Or they have become Missouri. If you don't, Florida in football, basketball, Florida has become Missouri. They have. They've been passed by Kentucky in football. They've been passed by Alabama in basketball. So to build it back, you don't go poof and you're 11-1. It doesn't work like that. Dan Mullen came there. He's such a good play caller.
Yeah.
And had Cal Trask. We thought, boom, right guy, you're back to 11. It doesn't work like that. So you bring in the right guys, and they build what Kirby built with Georgia, who was mediocre forever. What Nick built at Alabama, who was mediocre for a while. And I think that's starting to happen with those two. And listen, everything else in the program is in great shape. They win a bunch of titles, and all the other sports facilities are better than they've ever been. They're going to redo the swamp at some point. All that's coming. You just got to build the right guys. So as I always tell you, I'm weirdly confident about football.
Yeah.
Basketball, I just don't know. I don't know what to think about that.
What you did do, though, what you did provide right there in this segment was the headline poll. If you were to tease the podcast, you just gave us it, and it is, quote, Florida has become Missouri. End quote. Yeah.
Haven't they? But am I wrong or not?
Oh, no, you're not wrong.
That's the problem.
I don't want to concur, but yeah.
And so you become the way you move on from being Missouri and become Alabama, Georgia, Clemson one day is you get the kind of players I think he's getting. Yeah. That's the first step. And again, I mean, and I don't want to. I love all the Gators. I don't want to pick on the Gators. Yeah. But if you look at the guys catching passes for Florida or playing defensive line for Florida, then they look like they should be playing at Missouri. Yeah. They look like they should be playing at Wake Forest. And I don't think they. So I think that's changing. Your question about you're worried about this year. I get it. They might. I don't think they're 6 and 7 again this year.
All right.
But would you be happy with 8 wins right now? 8 and 4.
I think I think if he's got to start to prove his mettle to me as a coach during the games. I like everything he's done. I do, but I want to see some improvement on the coaching side. I want to see that kind of stuff, and I want to see them beat one of those rivals, man. I want to see you knock off FSU or Georgia or Tennessee or LSU. Yeah. I mean, and it may be too early. He may be staring at 0-8 against those guys, but we shall see. Let's wrap real quick with baseball. Okay. I told you a couple of weeks ago I thought baseball was back. Nothing has happened that has dissuaded me. Sproat had a rough outing against Auburn. I'll throw that away. It's going to happen. They still came back, showed some, but they got a nice test this week. Right. This is the one. This is Tennessee. This is up there. I think that's this week. Right. Am I correct? This is go up.
They're at Tennessee this week.
Yeah, go up and show your mettle. This is a good character check for this baseball team, and let's see what they're made of. Because Tennessee fans, will be out in full force.
Yeah.
Hate the Gators. It's a good spot
Right.
for them. Go up there and throw up a 15 spot in one of those games, you know?
Yeah. Have you looked at the SEC East standings in baseball?
Oh,
Have you
man.
looked?
Well,
Yeah.
South Carolina was off to a great start. I didn't see what they did this past weekend, but I know they were 6-0 out of the gate.
Florida is 7-2 in the conference, right?
Yeah.
They're in 4th place in the East.
And they're third in the
Vanderbilt-
nation, by the way. Most
Right.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's 9-0. Okay. South Carolina's like 8-1. Kentucky's like 8-1.
Yeah.
And they're all like 25-3, 26-4. It's amazing how good that conference has become.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Florida can score with any of them. The question is, once you get, and Sproul will be fine. He won't have a game
Right.
like that again. But once the big question with Florida is once you get beyond those 3 starters,
Right.
Sprout, Waldrop, and Caglione, what's the bullpen going to do?
Yeah.
Ryan Slater was very good in that
Yes, he
last
was.
game against Auburn, which is important. Nesbitt is good at times. Purnell is good at times. Abner's good at times. The question then becomes, Dan, what's good? That's the only question. They defend, they hit, they play hard. They have a charisma to them. They're going to score a bunch of runs. Is when you get beyond those 3 starters, what will the other pitchers do? And that'll determine, by the way, if they go to Omaha and win the national championship, or if they don't even get out of their super. Because and you're right, though, this weekend, because by the way, Tennessee's 5th in the division. Tennessee has the worst conference record now. They've played LSU 3 games. They've played some really good teams.
Yeah.
But Tennessee's 5th in the division. Think about that. They're 5th in the division, and they've got a good team. So the Florida, by the way, to end the rest of the season, those 3 teams I told you about, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, South Carolina, they're all 25-3 or 8-1.
Right.
Florida plays them all.
Oh, yeah.
You got to play every one of them. So, but I think baseball's in a good place. They're fun to watch. The game, because of the ESPN Plus, you can watch all the games.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I like where they are. Big weekend coming up. You're exactly right. Big weekend.
Good stuff, Frankie, as always, right?
All right, Hick, all things Gators. That's all things orange and blue. Dan Hicken and Frank Frangie.
Yeah, thank you, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, se-ortho.com for all your orthopedic needs in the and on the First Coast. Frank, have a great week.
You too, Hick.
All right, bro.